Okay. Are we live yet? Okay. Okay. Here we are. All right. Welcome back to Tongues and Runes. How are we doing out there? Hi, Bubba. Bonjour to you too. Okay. I can see that that is working. And I can see. Okay. Hi, Bliam. How are you doing? I'm going to put that in. Last minute Lexember prep. That's great. It's interesting that I saw a couple people like responding to my message to my announcement saying, "Oh, I'm making a language right now." That's you gotta do it quick if you want to be ready for Lexember, because that is tomorrow. But anyway, we're going to make our own words. Okay, let me refresh this and make sure it has ended. So this was our final poll. If you've been following me on Blue Sky, I did sort of a little experiment with our polls here, in that I I realized that the ranking polls with so many options were a bit much to try to do in 5 or 10 minutes on stream. Um, Probably was giving people some like choice anxiety there. So I thought, okay, if I give people 24 hours on one of these, then probably we can handle more. And I got a little bit. I managed to get some engagement from. I posted those just to Blue Sky and to the Discord, and we managed to get all of these ones figured out. And I said I would save story for the patrons, right? And then we would go and do the rest of them on stream. So that is what we're doing right now. But actually, we have to we have to actually do a little bit of resolving here, because this poll ended up a tie between EB and Etha. And I don't really want two variants here. I kind of want it to be like its own thing. So I think I'm going to throw this to you guys. So this would be the word for story, and it becomes the classifier for valuable items, which includes things that humans consider as valuable items, but also things like your names, your personality, characters, traits. Um, these are memories to, and maybe stories, because these are things that Fae take as valuable and exchangeable things, right? You can sell your name to them, or you can you they can steal it from you. So that's where we're going with that. That is what the meaning of this one is, and I'm going to go. I'm going to make this one just a YouTube poll because it's just two options, and I have dropped the vertical stream. We're just doing a regular horizontal stream today, just as an experiment, because I don't. I don't feel that the oh, let me make sure that people on the Discord know that I am actually live because I had a little kerfuffle there. Okay. Boom. Now we're live. We can officially say that we're live. And we will that's not what I wanted. But since I'm gonna try not doing the vertical stream, and then I will compare and then see if it's worth it to go back to doing the vertical stream. Because the thing is, my goal is to just put out the best video quality to YouTube that I can. And having the Twitch stream, the Twitch wasn't bringing anything in. And I'm not sure if the vertical was bringing anybody in. So, also, YouTube needs to just combine the vertical and horizontal streams. I don't know why they don't do that. Okay, ask a question. And what is our word for story? And this is a tiebreaker. And it's going to be, I'm going to switch the order here. Is it going to be, paste the right thing there. Is it going to be Etha or Ibe? Hello, Aaron. Let's do it quickly. Okay. Actually, can I record my vertical canvas while I'm doing this? And while we're doing that, well, we can't really work on resolving these until I know that. But let's just talk about the plan for today. We're going to get the last of these done. So we got story, we've got needle, and we decided there would be 3 of these that are different variants. Maybe there will be a subtle difference in meaning, but mostly these are going to split into the different dialects are going to take different ones, right? Some are going to take needle, some are going to take leg, some are going to take fruit as the product of someone's craft. Otherwise, it's just, yeah. Now, a thing to remember: these categories are overlapping. So some things that are valuable will be inorganic inert materials, right? So like gold, right? It's gonna depend on how the speaker views that thing in that moment, which one they're gonna choose, because that's a thing about how classifiers work. So that's going to be interesting. Okay. Oh, we got 8 votes. How many people are watching right now? I want to... do I not have... Okay. Okay. If we have 2 more people vote, so like... Okay. Okay, I think that everybody has gone the way I kind of expected people to go. So we've got Etha. Ether is our word for story. Lovely. We've got several thetas going on here. And now the thetas might not be in every dialect, just so you know. But I think I might try to make sure it ends up in the final Koine dialect. Possibly at fairly low frequencies, because you're going to have words from many different sources. Now, how are we going to do this? This one I'm still going to be using straw poll for a lot of polls because it just gives me a lot more options than YouTube does. So let's go ahead. I'm going to construct a straw poll. I'm going to create a poll. One of the things being that it gives me many more answer options. Do. Both of the languages you speak. What languages do you speak, Aaron? You speak obviously English, right? And it's going to copy the S2E13. Itwi. Bubui. English and Welsh. Okay. I figured one of them was Celtic. Aaron, are you Welsh? Okay. And we're going to make this... I'm going to make this a multiple choice. Choose our... And we're going to allow you to select up. You're going to select 3. What is the classifier for items crafted by the possessor? I think that's a better way to put it. And we will close this at 8:20. Not 29, 8:20. Create that poll and share the poll. Okay. That's interesting. I'm going to pull this over here so I can see the results come in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top 3 of those and just assign them. So that is where we're going to be at. Meanwhile, I mentioned that after this we're going to work on pronouns. So let's make sure that that is what is the correct heading? No, it should be heading 3. There we go. And so you like boobwee because it's kind of like Bubba. I'm going to, if it doesn't win any polls here, Bubba, I will make sure that boobwee ends up somewhere. What patterns do we have actually? Let's go through. So we have 3 of them have a theta in the middle pattern, in the middle sylvan form, and then we don't have. We have one that has a retroflex, right? We don't have. We have 2 here that start with a P, which I'm not totally happy with that happening, but it is what it is. No, it's a really good word. It's also going to because it's got the geminate B's, that in the future is going to preserve the B here. Let me keep refreshing this so I can keep track. Keep voting, folks, because we got some ties in here. I want to be decisive here. Maybe I should have made it a ranking poll, because that would do things. But here we have our pronouns. We're going to make a table. Now, we established before with a role that there are only oblique cases, there are no core cases. And with that, I'm going to have to say probably pronouns will, if there's only oblique cases, I kind of see pronouns actually taking regular affixes. Only a little bit of theta bias. So here's the thing. I constructed the language so that we would end up with thetas, and we're going to end up with some thetas in the final Koine. Not all of the dialects will have theta, because it's not super realistic to have theta survive all the time. It just tends to go to T or D or S or sometimes F, because it's kind of a difficult sound. But if you're going to have theta, it's definitely good to have them in a high frequency word like a classifier like this, right? Because then people will hear it and they will know that your language has a theta, right? Okay, you got 7 seconds. Get the last minute votes in. It's coming down to the wire here. also trying to think what do I want. So I kind of am not. So we want at least the 3 persons. Maybe we will do this, and then we want a label there. We want etymology. We want the current form, and we want the 2 case forms. So I'm thinking that we're going to have we're gonna have closed pronouns because there's things I need to do with pronouns later. When I do prepositions, because I want to do the Celtic style prepositions, which, as far as I understand it, are they derive from contractions of a preposition and a a preposition and a pronoun. So we kind of need fixed pronouns, but I'm thinking what we're going to do is we're just going to have first person, second person, and we're do a inclusivity distinction. Civ, second person exclusive, and then third person. Now, it is theoretically possible in a system like this for the third person to agree with class, but it is much less common in a system like this. If we if I have my dice tables, I can if I look at my dice tables and we go so we go okay. Yeah, so the thing is, like, it's when you don't have any what we call sex-based, if we don't have masculine, feminine, then it's like 13% of those languages would have any kind of agreement with noun class. If there's not, also I don't know how a second person would work. I mean, it could work. Our poll is over. And okay, so we have itwi and didu, itwi and didu. That's definitely going to turn into something weird. That's I'm gonna call that in the future. This after a retroflex is gonna be like, that's gonna become like a rhoticized vowel if it doesn't get deleted. And then we have a tie between tipus and ipib. So ipib, tipus and ipib. So let's go ahead and ask you guys. Let's do a tiebreaker on the YouTube chat and ask you guys what we're going to do with that. So and we'll we'll go ahead and stick these into the chart. Oh, I have the wrong document. I have so many documents that I'm sharing constantly. Let's go. So, needle. Itwe. 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 That's a really great word for needle. I like that for needle. It's got the sound symbolism of like a small, thin thing associated with E. And it just sort of it feels like it fits. Okay, so we get that. And do means fruit. I'm just gonna assign these, and then for clay, and we will go back to the straw poll and either tiputh or ipib. And we'll see how that goes. Oh, I'm so dumb. You are absolutely right, Soten. Inclusivity should be on first person. There is something like inclusivity in second person. But what we want. So actually what we want is this. Exclusive first person, inclusive first person. Aaron, what kind of vowel should you use the word for sun? That is a good question, and I don't know. I like you could do anything you want. I think I would usually favor lower, like o, and o are ones that I would favor just because the roundness of the sun is sort of like a Booba-esque thing, right? But you don't have to follow that. Like, it can be anything. Let me think, just in languages I know. English, it's sun, so it ended up with that caret, like fronted caret vowel. Probably was like sun at some point. Chinese has two different ones. There's zhi, which obviously that had at one point that had an e vowel that becomes and taiyang. So that's interesting. There's actually a compound in Chinese. Taiyang is over, and yang as in the yin yang. It's the bright energy, the light energy, the outward physical energy, and then the overall. So it's the most yang thing that there is, right? And then actually, I'm not going to do an etymology here. I'm going to go with singular, plural, And then think about what we do with the oblique ones. May I borrow ether? Oh, warm colors, absolutely you can borrow any of my words that you want. That's fine. I would be honored if people included one or two of my words in their own conlangs as, like, you know, things maybe not technically existing in the same word. Can there be a dual? There can be. Do we want to do a dual? Let me check this poll. Okay, so we've got I think this is not going to change. So we're going to go with EPIB. I think people were just saying just not interested in okay, so copy this. And so and now if I duplicate this, can I, because it would make my life much easier. And what else one did do? What else one itui? Can I can switch this to a ranking poll, random order of options, and we're going to set this one to go to 840. And so this one, what is our word for log? So, and we create a poll, and I will copy that, give it to you guys. So what we'll do is we will insert I think we can do that. We'll call this augmented. And so if you're familiar with this, so because actually, so this will be minimal, augmented, and plural. So if you're familiar with this, what happens is you cannot actually have a first person inclusive singular. Tony, I did not do the Swedish list words. I don't really worry too much about doing Swedish or Leipzig Jakarta first, because I mean, the thing is, these are not humans, so it's not really like they're necessarily going to have all the same instincts of what are basic words. And another thing is, like, it's just easier for me to just make words as I go. But yeah. So what we do, Samoan does what? Soten. So you can have, so the first person exclusive, that will have a singular, dual, and plural. However, first person inclusive, you cannot have a singular. What this is a dual. And maybe this could be a trial and then a plural. Right? because, now, are there other ways you could do this? Yes, there's absolutely other ways you could do this. But I kind of like the minimal augmented paradigms. It's an interesting way of, has a first person inclusive. Yeah, a lot of languages have first person inclusive, certain. But like what I'm saying is you can't do first person inclusive singular because it inherently includes two people. If there's people out here watching that don't know. So, first person exclusive. That is this really only matters when you're talking about multiple people. So, first person exclusive, that is we, right? But not including you, the listener, interlocutor, exclusive, and then oh, okay. Oh, emotional involvement on the part of the speaker. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so it's it's not actually, so it's a meaning change then. So what you have is the inclusive pronoun can occur in the singular with this modified metaphorical meaning. That works. Yeah. We, including the listener, is inclusive. And my example I can come up with right now is Chinese. It's a little bit muddy though. 我 woman is typically exclusive, and 咱们 is inclusive. This is a little bit muddy because a lot of Mandarin dialects don't actually have 咱们. So actually, woman ends up meaning both in actual practice, and the distinction is it's like a an overlapping thing, huh? Which maybe that will happen in Sylvan. Maybe that will happen between different dialects, and we'll have some weirdness with the koine, just like Chinese does. Psychic pronouns? What would psychic pronouns even mean? I don't know what psychic pronouns means. So okay, so let's see. Let's see how our poll is doing. Oh. Well, you guys seem to have a preference. Let me we'll check in there. So looks like we're doing minimal augmented and plural, right? Yeah, I can. We could also have this be the same. How do we merge? Have these be the same so that we just have a dual and plural for inclusive. Well, we'll consider that once we are making forms. But this should be okay. So this is closed. Bubba, I hope you like the idea of bubwi meaning dead things, because that is what it ended up being. How would it differ from the plural? Well, it could be a trial or a pockle, right? Trial meaning exactly 3 things, or pockle meaning a few things, right? Different classifiers produce different meanings, but are the same root. I would say that yeah, you could have different meanings expressed with different classifiers. Depends on how thoroughgoing your classifier system is. If it gets classifiers a lot, then it's more likely. But it's really it's really kind of dependent. So, so let's go, and we're gonna. What do we want? What am I aiming at? What am I thinking about right now? Okay. So, okay, we need to do one more on these. So, for pebble, classifier for inanimates, inert things. Okay. And let me edit that so that you actually can vote in it. So it needs to go to 850. And now I'll share it. And then we will be done with at least the main thing. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Aaron, that 100% makes tracks, because those words are closely related semantically, and then you're just choosing the classifier in order to choose what would what interpretation would be favored, right? I think does that ever happen in the only classifier language I know is Chinese. I know well. I'm trying to think if there are places in Chinese. In Chinese, it's often the case where you can choose a different classifier depending on how you view something. I'm trying to think, like moon and month. Yeah, I mean, there's compounds that are different, but you have yeah. But I think it always just takes g. I can't think of. Distinguish, that sounds cool. I don't think it's going to work for what I'm constructing here, because a key thing that I want to do is I want to have the prepositions have a combination of a preposition and a historical preposition and a pronoun, so that I get inflected pronouns, which is a common feature of insular Celtic that I want to call back to. So it probably helps me better if I have distinctive roots Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you have demonstrative numeral and possessive classifiers. That's cool. Um, hmm. Determiners can't attach to nouns directly. What do you mean by... In what language? Um, let's see. Are you asking about your own language? I don't know what your system is, Warm Colors, but sticking an intransitive particle on a verb to make it passive sounds reasonable to me. As long as like that construction ends up being consistent. Uh, well, I mean, uh, Tony, it happens. Why would prepositions and pronouns combine? Well, they're both small grammatical words. Uh, and they're both usually going to be like weak, right? Um, and so they'll just end up there's plenty of situations where they can end up just getting smashed together, right? Um, yeah, it's just a thing. It's just a thing that can happen. I don't know about the. I think it's just that if you end up with a pronoun being weak and then it gets cliticized to the preposition and then they just merge together. I mean, this isn't like only out there, like this isn't only in Celtic. Um, I think that the Afro-Asiatic way is a little different. I think there were like person inflections that got like stuck onto prepositions there. However, you can go a lot of. You familiar with Spanish? Spanish has one inflecting preposition. Okay, we have conmigo, contigo, consigo. That's an inflected preposition paradigm. And I think, let's see, like if Wiktionary can help us understand how this works. So let's go to conmigo. So that actually came from Latin. It actually in this case, so it comes from cumecum. So what we had was it already had a compound of me and cum, right? And then you had the come before as well, and you ended up with cum mecum. cum mecum, which became conmigo, right? Ay. Um, Now, warm colors. This is the Fae. So we did some world building on the first episode. This is a language for Dungeons and Dragons. It's the language that in the books is called Sylvan, and um, it is a language that druids and rangers often know. In third edition, it was allowed for you to choose, for those classes to choose Sylvan as their bonus language. So what I'm interpreting it as is this is the language they use for spellcasting. But the original speakers are the Fae in Faerie, or what D&D calls the Feywild. And so we've done some work on this. Ultimately, there's going to be 4 different dialects, and then the final language that is going to be used for spellcasting is a koine of those 4 dialects. Right now, the stage we're in is right before the dialects split. So we're going to have that. See it, English. Oh, okay. Oh, so okay. So in Semitic, you also had pronouns becoming a part of the inflected prepositions. That's great. Yeah. So they are the Fae, with a lot of the tropes and stuff that are associated with. By the way, our poll is ended, and we have a winner. We have Ibe. So that is the end of that. And we're going to... So, we have all of our classifiers. Now, I'm going to go through later and decide whether there are reductions that happen to these. I think actually just having like 2-syllable ones is fine. It's not, yeah. Oh, bye, Aaron. Oh, okay. See ya, Aaron. By the way, Lexember is tomorrow, everybody. Be prepared to share your words. Mine will be coming out as shorts on this channel, and they'll automatically share to the Discord and to my social media stuff. So you'll probably see them somewhere. Converbs, yeah. So you got that. Maybe sometime in the future I need to do some Q&A streams, because people ask a lot of questions in these, and I need to be focused here. Okay, so here we go. So I think our question here is, if we're going to have these 3, are we going to have these regular, or are we going to have... It's more common to have... I think it's more common to have... I'm debating now whether I want third persons to do by class. The thing is, we have a lot of classes, and that may end up being a bit too much. is... What just beeped at me? I'll find that later. So let's go to Lexergy. So I think I'm just, to keep it simple, I'm not gonna have this. Actually, hold on. So here's my deal. Here's my deal. So pros of this, it's yeah. So here's a thing. Let's say that we did this. This affects the way now I'm going to have to deal with the noun classes anyway when I'm writing spells. But no, Sandwich Artist Tony is definitely not Tony Harris, inventor of Alersa. I can tell that. I don't know if Tony would be here. If you want to meet him, then you got to go to the Conlanger Zoom meeting that the LCS does, which will be later today. Alersa. Oh, Sandwich Artist Tony. It's called Alersa. You go and search for that. It's a personal language. Also an art lang. There is a card world. That will tell you everything you need to know about Alersa. It's very well known in the conlang community. You know what? You know what? I'm going to go for it. How many? We need 5. Class 1. And what I'm going to do is these are going to just be, so, taken from these same sources. This kind of means that these can't mean what they used to. There are 2 oblique cases. There are no core cases, Soten. So I will have to figure out how that works out. This actually solves a problem for me too, because so we had Ika, so we need E. This actually solves multiple problems for me, because, and actually, if we're gonna do that, we can just make this oo. And then we need a different one. Oh! Okay, that's cool. We'll need to have something, some way of deriving that. I could use prepositional pronouns as a substitute for case and pronouns. In fact, maybe I'll just do that. Instead of having... Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to think about that. So... So there is no, so I have these. This could be a system that has developed relatively recently. And it just ended up with the same sources. Let me think. I can think about whether I want to reduce this to 1 syllable. Just for... Well, I know I have other 2-syllable ones. Okay, that's another option, right? We could have this be... Demonstratives that inflect for the gender and prepositions. I think actually... So... There's pros and cons to this. This... I'm feeling that this system is relatively recent at the level of Mittelpaaren. Why do I keep saying Mittelpaaren? Middle Sylvan. And then this sort of co-evolved with it and ended up with that. We could instead have... Let me mock that up. Okay, here's what I will do. Let's go ahead And let's just decide what our third person inanimate will be. Okay? Let's go to Lexifer, and I'm going to make let's make 5 words. And Plet baby. Let's see what these turn into in Lexergy. Why is it incomplete? What do you mean? Oh, that's sound changes. I need to put this in here. And Duifi Appa Egu. Okay, so yeah. So let's actually so let's see. And this can just be so let's think about that. So we go with straw poll. Let's create a poll here. Because we're gonna need this one way or the other. Make it a ranking poll. And let's see. What is the source of our third person inanimate? And then we'll give you guys until 9:20. And create that. Share it. Copy Tokepona. I don't know what you would mean by that. So let's give you guys about 10 minutes to do that poll, and we will return to that in a second. So here's the two proposals. How do I just delete stuff in here? We'll have this, whatever this demonstrative ends up being. And then go here. And here. And it would be this demonstrative plus that inflection, right? This could work. I think I'm going to work up both options, Soten, and let the patrons decide on this. Otherwise, we can have a third person that will be the same thing here. Yeah. I don't really worry about the sources for pronouns because pronouns tend to be pretty ancient. In this case, since we're doing this, these do have sources. These do have lexical sources because we came up with the lexical sources up here. But in general, personal pronouns tend to be pretty ancient. I don't really worry about the sources of those because it's not gonna be a huge deal. Now, we're going to also need these three. In this case, I think we will just have a suppletive paradigm here, right? And I'm not going to worry about sources for these at all. Just the raw root, right? And then we'll think about what we do with these obliques. We've come up with these suffixes. And one thing that I really need one thing that I really need to work out is, yes, I do know that. Okay, is like what happens. One thing I need to do is I need to start making a bunch of nouns and doing the inflection thing to see where this goes. So, okay, we could. We're gonna have to decide what this is gonna be. I don't know how that's gonna resolve. Yeah. Yeah. Singular, plural, in the demonstratives. Yeah, we could do. One thing is, if we're going to do a dual, we're going to have to decide how this system interacts with the dual. Either there's just no dual in third person, which would be interesting. Or we have like a regularly derived dual coming from the singular with like something that meant two. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. Plural agreement ending, you get the augmented, huh? That's a possibility. So you're talking about like in this system. Jeez, what even happens with this? This is E. How does this actually resolve? Okay, I need to figure out how would this actually shake out in Lexergy? Okay. T I apply changes. See. Okay, that one would end up. I think that one would end up reducing. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking probably just minimal augmented just in the the first and second person. And then um and then these would just have plurals. Maybe we would have to invent a plural suffix because it's a little bit weird to not have a plural now. But it's not necessarily a problem for it to be weird. Thinking. I think at minimum I need the 6 forms of pronouns here. And then I'm think about what we could have suppletive augmented here. Are there any words that fairies borrowed from dragons? Well, 100% I'm going to have them borrow the word ndapga. That is winged dragon, right? Which, if we do that in IPA, that is ndap right? And then that just sort of within the proto phonology, this is probably because I don't think I have any. I don't have a proto schwa, right? So we would have to. It would have to become. It would have to become. I think this nasal, just like a lot of prenasalized consonants, it would probably end up being interpreted just as a voiced D. And then we'd have da, p, pa, the aspirate is there, pa, ka. And then if we pull that into Lexergy, here, and just make it one word, and we apply that. Defaka. Now, that could be how it sorts out, but I think actually they would perceive the stress here and probably not end up going with that. I think what they would actually end up with would be either tafaka, 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 or, oh gosh, do I really want to make this the word for dragon? We'll see if we want to go that direction. Dafaka. Could be Dafaka. I kind of wanted to do that, but I'm not sure. Okay. Okay, that poll is over. Let's go check the results here. So we ended up with aigu. So here is, so we would end up with aigu here, right? And then we want to, so in this case, I think I would just merge all of these. And this would be aigu. Yeah, we can just merge it for now. The important thing is Control H. So what we want is I want to make sure that I have this sorted out. How would I want to do this? So I don't know what's going on. Yes. Okay, so let's so we'd have aigu T aigu. What if we end up, I did this in aigu geek. This sort of happened irregularly, where the vowel ends up taking over, right? Egg. You. No, let's just say egg. Well, there's different ways that I would. Oh, egg. Egg pug. Egg bow. And egg. And egab. Let's see what happens if I apply in that way. Oh, there's no, we don't have that. Let's say that this happens. Oh gosh. Agusi. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so I'm going to say we do get this stress shifting thing going on. And then okay. This actually is making me like this idea even more certain. And I am not entirely sure I want to have a vote on it now, because it's starting to come together. Let's paste these here, and then we can get them in place. So here's what we do. Hold with me. There's going to be more. I'm going to do more to this. Oh, gosh. Now, okay, here's the thing. You'd be looking at me like, George, well, okay, we got some like three syllable ones, right? No. Here's what we do. Anywhere where we ended up with that schwa, that got deleted real quick. And Jik. I could do that. This didn't change, but this one did. Gepug. 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 Yeah, we have so it yeah, we have reflexives in this language. Retroflexes. Sorry, it's not reflexive. Retroflex. We'd have retroflexes in this language, and that's So how about this? So we could have this with just like these words just change their meaning. Or we can have this, and we end up with this, like, they have lost some information, right? Yeah. We have lost some information, but, like, some philologist could reconstruct that these are related to the egu. It could get even further, like confused in the future. Like maybe we start losing these gu at the beginning, right? And we end up with pug and paw again, but we keep Gab and Eggy and um, Goosey and Good and Jik. Am I going to have to end up keeping that syllabic fricative? Jik. Yeah. And Gi. I kind of like this. So it's derived, but it's not super obvious that way. And this is like a one-off. This is not a regular sound change that deleted these schwas. Eventually, we probably will do some deleting of schwas, but in this case, it just sort of like ended up happening early. Maybe that propagates through the lexicon in different dialects. The stress is penultimate unless there's a heavy syllable. So this is goosey, but here we have a heavy syllable here with a coda. So it's gupug. Gupug. And this is gupao. Yeah. I think your idea is very solid, Soten. I think what I'm going to have to do is figure out how this interacts here. Let's see. We've got 30 minutes here. Let's generate some new roots. And I'm going to need between 6 and 9. We'll see how many I end up using. So let's just generate 15. No, let's generate 10 here. That's the wrong language. Let's generate 10 here. Oh. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new poll. This is going to be a multiple choice. Oh, let's see what they turn into. And then get to our poll. We're going to get the top vote getters of these. Let's, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top 6 and put them in these slots, which I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do for augmented, whether it's going to be a regularly derived thing or it's going to be like other roots. I may end up working that part out myself. Okay. What was our... Meanwhile, while I'm on straw poll, we go to the results. APA. Okay, so here's another variation. Getting an idea from what you were saying, Soten. We can have this. Take our second place winner, right? And then we figure out what happens here. That's actually... Oh, it's E. Well, let's go with this. That's fine. I'm not gonna... This would be... That's another option we could do with API. And we'll do the same... Oh, this is the wrong table for this. And then we'll do... Okay. Oh, still the wrong one. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Actually, here. Like that, right? Hey. Voting ends in 1 minute, huh? Yeah. This is kind of nice because you have this relationships you see, huh? Kind of like this. The other alternative would be to go with this, and then I would need to add some kind of a root that means two. And I'd need to decide where that goes. Three I looks irregular. Yeah. Well, it here's I mean, so here's one. It's really difficult to see what's going on, right? Your other option you had was to have this up I goes to irregularly to opi and to and that would just be opi. I kind of like the pa a lot better. It just works better for me. Papug, papow. These could end up getting reduced to pug and pow in different dialects. We have gi, gab, pab. Gi, gi, gab, pab. Going on. Gik, gupow, gupow, papow. So some of these obviously look related. Some of these have changed in weird ways that make them not look related. Yeah. These sort of prefixy looking things on these ones could end up inspiring grammatical affixes that go in odd ways. I'm kind of leaning towards this more as we develop it. But I want to see how does this jive with what we come up with um, in our let's look at the results of our poll. So we're just gonna eliminate the ones. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I probably need. Okay, I probably should have had more options there for such a big thing. Um, so let me plug. Let me get those. get those into here and decide how I'm going to arrange those in the thing. Okay. Let's go with let's actually change this to a long O. Feels better if these are a bit heavy. This feels best as a second person. And then these feel kind of related. So I'll have them mean similar things. I could. I kind of don't really want to do a distal proximal distinction. Now the question is, I think we're coming close to the end of our time. I think what I'm going to do, so I'm going to flesh out this option to figure out what the augmented forms are here, and present these two paradigms for third-person pronouns to patrons to see what you all think. I could just do what I was doing and have... If I do this with the singular endings... Okay, here's our options. This is going to be... I have not heard of the syntax construction kit. Language construction kit was very formative in my conlanging. But syntax construction kit is not something I know about. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to grab I just need to type those in. So let's go back to Lexergy. And apathie apathie apud apik and apui. Do that. Apply. And let's say this as a third option. This is another option. Did I mess that up? Okay. Control X. And then what we'll still do, because I really like this trick here. And then, okay. This actually, why am I making this also the dual? Okay, I need to actually... Because that doesn't make any sense to me. But this... Okay, so here is our story. Here are our two stories that I will work up and present to patrons. For these third person pronouns, one of two things happened. We had a singular and plural demonstrative here. Tolkien didn't have a computer. I don't know what he did exactly. We had a singular and a plural demonstrative. And that got combined in... What happened is, either way, the singular got combined with these singular affixes for noun class. And we have one of two ways that we ended up with the dual and plural. First one was that this plural ended up getting the singular affixes Let's see. If the plural gets these singular affixes and then the singular gets the plural affixes, yes. You had the plural get these singular affixes. Okay, there can be three of these possibilities. Another one would be if we copy this table. And we end up with this happening. Because this is a little bit weird, but possible. So here we would have the plural takes either the singular or the plural affix to become dual or plural, right? Here what we had is the singular can take the plural affix to become the dual. Here we have the plural take the singular affix and then the singular take the plural affix and end up going different ways. Tinguish, the thing is, like, yeah, that kind of defeats the purpose of this syllabic. Jik. I do think that in some dialects, either it's going to reverse to an E or we're going to have it turn into some kind of a cluster thing. So it wouldn't be jik anymore. It would be uh it would jik. Maybe we'd end up losing consonants before it and it becomes zik, or zik. Um, it can go in lots of different ways. This is the middle form. It's okay since we're not actually using this language. It's okay to have it be a little bit odd. Yeah. I'm going to have this end up getting reflected in some way, in at least some of the dialects, how it ends up going. So this is how we're doing our and I think how we end up doing the dual augmented thing in this one is going to depend on how this shakes out, because it kind of, I think that will inform things. the Yeah, well, I mean, but it's possible. So here, these are our options. I'm going to write this. I'm going to adjust these tables to be more readable. And we're going to present that to patrons, and then we will and then next week we'll find out what our pronoun system looks like. And until then, though, watch the channel for Luxembourg. Watch the channel for Luxembourg. I'm gonna have shorts. I'm also going to be doing Luxembourg. I have a Luxembourg channel on the Discord. I'm not doing any like prompts for you guys or anything. I don't have the time for that, but you guys could like maybe you can take my own shorts as inspiration if you want. Honestly, it was just words that I came up with as I was writing spell incantations. But but hopefully that will be interesting for you guys. And then I will be monitoring the Discord. I will also be monitoring Blue Sky, which I am on Blue Sky. I am Conlangery. How do I link to my profile on Blue Sky, actually? Blue Sky. So if you want to follow me there, if you want to follow me there, I do all the social media things, and I just have some conversations on Blue Sky, because it's right now the best like mass social media experience. I mean, Mastodon's pretty good too, but that's kind of where I am. But oh, Tinglish, well, that's okay. Maybe use a language you made earlier, or maybe just coin words in your proto-lang for Luxembourg, and then next year you can go day by day and say, okay, what does this word mean now? That's a thought. You can do anything you want, but I'm going to say we thank you all for listening, and happy conlanging.